Hi everyone, this is Dan again with the Final Fantasy playthroughs, and today we're starting Final Fantasy II. I did have a file that I started up where I'm going to show you a few things, but for now we're going to start a new game and get straight into it. So, I'm going to keep all the character names normal, not going to do any changes. So let's get into the game and have some fun. Wow, we're not even damaging them. Ooh. Looks like the game's over. Just joking. Okay, so basically we're a rebel faction that is working against the Empire, and these guys are orphans. They don't have parents, so basically we're helping the Queen infiltrate different places in the world. But we're missing one party member, so that's interesting. In this game you can learn some keywords and they will come in handy during your quests, so you want to learn and select the keyword and then ask about it and they will give you some new info. And we'll talk to this guy, but before then we'll just configure the menu. So We'll use battle boosts, because that will definitely come in handy as we're leveling. Especially in this game, because I'm going to explain how the leveling system works a little bit. So, what you have is your party menu as normal, but you'll see that there are no levels. So that means that all your experience in the game comes from using particular actions in battle. So if you wanted to level your sword up, you use the sword. If you want to level your magic, you use the magic. And there's no experience points, like I might have mentioned. So all your experience will come from using those actions, and and if you wanted to increase your health, you'll have to get hit. And if you want to increase your magic, you'll have to use your MP. It's pretty straightforward stuff. It's just that it's very departed from the previous game. And since the last game in the series had experience points and this one doesn't, you have to spend your time experimenting and learning what works for you. Because not only does it not have experience points, it's also not restricted with how you can equip your characters. So you can use any spell, any armor, any whatever. You can make your own classes. In Final Fantasy III you have job systems, but in this one you can make your own party how you see fit. Sorry if the explanation was a bit long-winded, but that's about how it works in this game. I'll show you an example. So you'll have on the right side an experience bar, and as it grows, you'll see the number change, and the number changes determine how strong your skills are. So say if I just kept my character unarmed and kept using barehanded attacks, that bar would increase, and eventually some of the stats on the left side would also change. So now we're out into the town. This is Ozia. And around here we can start buying some weapons and magic. So what I normally do at this stage is just buy one of each piece when I started leveling my characters. But now I'm gonna get 3 knives. We'll keep it at that because we need to farm for money anyway before you can really start decking out your characters. Just check what they have equipped now. So each character has different things, like we got armor, got an axe on Guy, got a broadsword and a shield on Furion. But I'm going to remove everything and show you how it works. The one thing you do need is the shield on everybody, so I would suggest getting one more, just for the sake of it, and at least one each of the armors. We're gonna give Maria the leather cap, leather armor and gloves, and a shield, and the other two can just have a normal shield. Keep in mind, I'm going to change this pretty soon anyway. Now as for magic, I'm going to decide who's going to use white magic as a class, because that comes into play later on. So all I'm going to do is just buy a Cure Tome, and whichever character you want to use a spell, you have to select it from the menu, when you go into the menu, you can choose the Cure Tome and then select who you want to learn it. So I'm gonna go Guy as the White Mage this time. So, as soon as you're on the world map, a good idea is to save. So you can see that I have a different file here, but we'll save that for another time. So maybe in about 10 or so minutes I'll show you how that works too. But for now we're just going to get into a battle. So you can see that the battle menu is quite similar to the first game, but it's just the stats and the leveling system that works differently. So if I wanted to level my barehanded attack, since I don't have any weapons equipped, I can do that. Here's an example. And you can see that your shield is already leveled up, as well as the barehanded stat too. And then we've got a few other increases, like strength and evasion. The evasion increases because we had the shield equipped. So as you get some practice, it gets easier to learn. It's just a bit different. But I will show you what happens when I load that save file that I was just talking about. So let's get into that one. This is what I did yesterday. So you can see that I spend a lot of time already leveling up my health and magic. That took about 2 hours. And then if I go into the magic menu, you can see that I'm already at level 10 with Cure. And Maria was my white mage before I selected Guy in the current playthrough I'm doing. And then I had Guy as the black mage, but you can see the point. Each of his spells are leveled up too. So if I get into a battle now, I'm completely overpowered. Oops. Evasion's very high, so most of their attacks are missing. Yeah, so you can one-shot everything here. You could already do that from the very beginning, but the point is that it's really a good idea to spend a bit of time leveling in these areas. So if I spent 1 or 2 hours here, just at the very first screen after you leave the town, you could become overpowered for the next half or 2/3 of the game, honestly. But I'm going to go back into my previous save. So now we're back where we started, and I'm going to choose a class for each character. So you already know that I've got Guy as the white mage, so Maria's going to be my black mage. And I'm going to keep the shield equipped, and for now we're just going to keep leveling the barehanded attacks, and occasionally I'm going to switch weapons out. So I do want to build a good base of HP and MP, but I might not go as far as I did in that last file that I was discussing just now. Alright, so we leveled up again. Now we have 150 gil, so I'm going to go back into the town for a second. Back to the item shop. So we're going to buy a knife. Oh, we already have 3 of those, so let's go for one more broadsword for now. And we can come back for the rest. So if I check the status screen, my classes are leveling already, so you can see that the hands are at level 2. So we're going to equip each character with a knife and just level that a little bit. As we go through the game, we're going to gradually increase their skills. I just want to get at least 1 level on each weapon at this stage, but I don't want to make the game too easy, although it will be easy in general. So, if it is easy, that's the way it is. You can handicap yourself if you like as well. There's so many different ways to play this game, so it's completely up to you. It's like an open sandbox. So if you wanted to increase your health, you could hit yourself and just keep leveling up as you go. Or, the game has implemented a change in this version where it incrementally increases your health every 10 or so battles, so you don't really need to level that up by staying here, but I showed you that example a few minutes ago where I spent 2 hours hitting myself, basically. That is another way you can really get overpowered. But now you can see that Guy has already gained 60 health apart from what he had before. So, yeah. And that's because he was in critical. And a lot of the time your health increase will happen when you get close to dying. So that's another way it can go if you want the game to flow a bit normally. But I am going to use Cure. Even if you use Cure from the menu, it will start leveling like it just did, so you can see it jump from 1 to 2, and it's already gaining strength. So the Cure spell will get stronger as we keep using it either in battle or from the menu when your characters need health replenishment. Okay, so I'm going to change weapons again. We'll unequip the knife. Leave it on Guy because he needs to level up. But we'll get to about level 3 on each weapon, I reckon, before we progress and then really start choosing what classes we want to use with our characters. Because I do want them to be proficient with every class in the grand scheme of things, but to be honest, you could get away with not leveling any of them and just stick with one for each character like I did in the first time I played. So now we'll go with the broadsword and start getting some experience on that. And I'm going to go back into the town so we can make sure everyone's decked up with some armor. So after a couple more battles, we're going to buy some black magic. That way we can start leveling up our spells too. So if I open the menu, you can see that everybody's got a full set of equipment, and magic is okay, status is looking alright, so we're getting there with time. That's alright, I'll give the sword to Guy as well, then we'll come back to him so that we can even things out. Guy's evasion's already looking good. Eventually I'm going to take the shield off for a while, and that will give us a free slot to give each character a second weapon, except for the one who uses bows, because if you use a bow you can't equip a shield. I'm not even sure if I'll use a bow throughout the game. Honestly, it's not that good for me. I prefer other kinds of weapons. Speaking of weapons, I think we need to go back to the weapon shop for a second. Because I don't think I bought every kind that we can get. Yeah. Now we're looking good. Okay, and we'll go to the black magic shop. Where are we? That's okay. One each. And let's get 2 more cures, just for the sake of it. I don't know why I was running in circles. I know why, it's because in Final Fantasy 1 we only had the white magic and black magic shops. So in this one, it's combined. I lost track of where I was. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna give Maria the black magic. And we'll also learn Cure on our other 2 characters, because you never know when you'll need it. That gives us a pretty good base to work with. There we go, we've already got some increases with health. Okay, we change Maria over. Give her the staff. I will do it with all of them. Okay, we'll change around again. Before that, we're going to go to the next town, because that's where we can even out our weapons a bit more. So we're in Getria, and in the weapon shop here you can buy what you couldn't find in the first town. You get 2 more axes and 2 more bows. Now we're going to go back to the world map. Equip axe. Alright, so that's leveled up. And swap to the javelin. And then we're going to start using Cure as well. Swap to the bow. So you can see now that their shields have been removed, like I was mentioning before. You can't use a shield when you have bows equipped, but we're not going to keep them on the character for too long, because that's a disadvantage for evasion stat anyway. I might just bring it up to level 3 and see how we go with that. And then we'll do another cycle of leveling. Okay, Guy can go back to being... Let's see. Guy can go back to having nothing equipped in his weapons, and we'll put the shield back on for a second. Okay, great. We're looking good. Maria's progressed quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is actually knock out my other two characters, and I'm going to level Maria up separately, because it's a little bit uneven, and then we're going to do each character individually. So what I'll do now is end the stream, and I'm going to come back when I've leveled up the characters to my satisfaction. I did say I wasn't going to do too much, but we'll see how we go. I'll see you soon, guys. Thanks for coming.